Yes. So this is basically your second class, right? Second class of the CSAT crash course. Yesterday we were focusing upon the nature of the number system, right? Certain nature of the numbers themselves, right? So that is what we discussed yesterday, right? Now, based on it, we discussed all these numbers, right? We discussed about prime number, composite number, natural number, whole number, integer, even and odd numbers also, right? These are the major aspects that we discussed, right? Here we discussed certain aspects regarding zero. Can we recall what we discussed? Is zero an even number or an odd number, or can't say? Zero is an even number. Okay, zero is an even number. Similarly, we discussed about zero being it's neither positive, exactly. It's neither positive nor negative. Fine. Similarly, we also talk about one. When we talk about one, okay, we also discussed something, that is when we talk about numbers, okay, when we talk about natural numbers, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we basically talk about what? One, and then you have what? Prime numbers, and you also have what? Composite numbers. Exactly. Okay. So natural numbers is basically a combination of one and then prime numbers and composite numbers, right? So from here you can clearly see when we talk about one, that is one is actually neither prime nor composite. Fine. So this all we have discussed already in the last class. Fine. Now we discuss two more terms here that will be relevant for our class today, right? First is co-prime numbers. What do we mean by co-prime numbers? So when we talk about co-prime numbers, okay, it is any two numbers जिनमें factor है, the common factor that is there, it is only one. There is only one common factor, and that common factor is one. Okay, so those numbers are known as co-prime numbers. Okay, for example, here if you say 3 and 5, what is the factors here of 3? It is 1 and 3. What is the factors of 5? It is 1 and 5. So what is the common factor in both of them? It is 1. Okay, so those are known as co-prime numbers. Fine. Now, when we talk about co-prime numbers, is it necessary that they have to be prime numbers? That is, like here it is 3 and 5. Is it necessary? It is not necessary. Okay. For example, if you take 2 and 3. Okay. For example, if you take 3 and 4. Okay. 3 and 4. What happens here? Here the factors are 1 and 3. Here the factors are 1, 2, 4. Okay. Again, the common factor is only 1, and that is the common one. Okay. So here 3 and 4 are also co-prime numbers. Okay. So let me repeat the definition of co-prime numbers. That is, when we talk about co-prime numbers, any two numbers, it can be even number, odd number, prime number. Okay. Any of these numbers, if the factor between two numbers is only one, common factor is only one, those numbers are co-prime to each other. I hope this is clear. Okay. Is this clear, everyone? What co-prime numbers are? Okay, because this kind of questions can be asked in your statement-based questions. Okay, we will see the aspect. Okay. Now we deal with the second aspect, that is twin prime. Okay. Now what is twin prime? So let's discuss that also. Now here when we talk about twin prime, it is actually we are talking about those prime numbers. Okay, here we are talking about those prime numbers where the difference is 2. Okay, for example, here if you talk about 3 and 5, okay, they are prime numbers and their difference is what? 5 minus 3, it is 2. So when the difference is 2, we say it as twin prime. Okay, similarly 5 and 7, the difference is again 2. Okay, now 7 and 11 cannot be twin prime here because the difference is 4 here. Okay, so let's say 11 and 13, again the difference is 2. Okay, so we are talking about twin prime numbers. That means we are talking about 3, 5, 5, 7, 11, 13, and so on, 17, 19. Okay, so these are twin prime numbers. Okay, now is it necessary that they have to be prime numbers? Yes. Okay, they have to be prime numbers and the difference has to be 2. Fine. Okay. So now if this part of it is clear to you, now let us jump into the statement based questions. Okay. Now every year you have seen, every year at least 2 to 3 questions are asked from this topic, statement based questions. Okay. So basically 2 statements are given and based on it a question is asked. Okay. Now first and the foremost thing is you should know the priority involved. Okay. Here the priority is S1 alone is sufficient to answer the question. Second is S2 alone is sufficient to answer the question. Then either S1 or S2, S1 and S2, and finally neither S1 nor S2. This is the priority in which you will answer the question. Okay, for example, if S1 alone is sufficient to answer the question, okay, you are able to answer the question through S1 alone, you will also check if S2 you are able to answer or not. Okay, sometimes it might so happen that S1 is also answering your question, S2 is also answering your question individually. Okay, in that case you will go with either. Okay, if S1 is answering your question, S2 is not answering your question, you will go with S1 alone is sufficient. Okay, if S1 is not able to answer your question, S2 is able to answer your question, you will go with this one. Okay. Now, if what about this scenario? S1 is able to answer your question, S2 is able to answer your question individually. Okay. And S1 and S2 also is able to answer your question. In this scenario, which option will you go with here? C or D? Which option will you go with? That is S1 you are able to answer, S2 you are able to answer individually, and here it is S1 and S2 together. You will go with C. Exactly. Okay. So this is the order that you need to keep in mind. Okay. Sometimes students say, sir, S1 to nahi pata, S1 and S2 definitely are answering your question. But you have to individually see if S1 is also answering. Okay. So this pattern has to be followed. Fine. Okay. Now, if this is clear, we discuss one more aspect. Then we go to the questions. Okay. Now, whenever this kind of question is asked, here the question will be of this frame, right? Is X an even number? Question mark, right? So how would you say, let's say statement 1 answers your question. Okay. You will choose that option only when you solve for S1, you get S1, that is X is either an even number. Okay. So when you get, let's say you choose, you solve the equation and you get X is an even number. Okay. Then you say, yes, this answers my S1 answers my question. Okay. That is yes, definite. Yes, you are able to get. Is X an even number? Yes. I'm getting X is an even number from statement 1. Okay. What if you solve for S1 and you get X is odd number? Then will you say this question answers your question? This statement answers your question? Okay. So it definitely still answers your question. The reason is X an even number? Here, a definite no. Okay. You're able to say a definite no to the answer. Yes, X is odd. So a definite no when you're able to give, that means still you are able to answer your question from S1. Okay. So this aspect you have to keep in mind. Okay. Now here, if you're not getting a definite answer, definitely that statement does not answer your question. Fine. So I hope this logic is clear to you, everyone. If this logic is clear, now let's jump into the questions. Okay. So let's start with the first question itself. Okay. So again, we'll go the same route, right? We'll start with the basics. Okay. We'll go for the tough problems and finally the UPSC questions that have been asked till date. Fine. So here the question is the product of two numbers x and y an odd number? Okay. Now statement 1 says x and y are two prime numbers. Statement 2 says x and y are two even numbers. Okay. So which statement will definitely answer your question? That is the point. Okay. You tell me which statement will definitely answer your question. S2. Okay, Raghavan, fine. In the first case scenario, you will take x and y as prime numbers, any random prime numbers. Okay. In the second scenario, statement 2, you will take x and y as any random even numbers. Dushyant, be fine. What about others? Dinesh, B. Okay. What about Subhadra? Abhishek? Ishani? Subhadra, B. Okay. So here, what is the logic here? That is, x and y are two prime numbers. Okay. So when they are prime numbers, that is, we are talking about x and y. We are talking about their product here. Okay. So the product of x and y, here it can be what? It can be either odd or even. The reason being, exactly. The reason is, if one of the prime numbers is 2, and other prime number is 3, then 2 into 3 is 6, which is an even number. If the prime numbers is 3 and 5, it is odd. So here the product xy, you are getting either odd or even. You are not getting a definite answer to this question. Therefore, S1 alone is not sufficient to answer your question. Okay. Now again, the same logic will apply in second statement. X and y are two even numbers. That means their product will also be even. Okay. So here the question is the product of two numbers x and y an odd number? You will say a definite no. It is an even number. Okay. So here S2 alone is sufficient to answer the question. So the answer is B. Fine. Chalo. If this is clear to you, try this one. Next one. Okay. Again, the question is P an odd number? And two statements are given. Okay. So two statements given. That is, first statement is P is a prime number which lies between the squares of the numbers. Okay. Statement 2 is P plus Q is an odd integer. So you tell me which question definitely answers, which statement definitely answers your question. Dinesh one, okay. What about others? Raghavan one, okay. What about Subhadra? Dushyant. Okay. Second statement. Fine. Okay, so what do we have here? That is, P is a prime number which lies between the squares of the numbers 50 and 200, right? That means P is a prime number which lies between 50 square and 100 square, right? Now here, if it basically it lies between what? 2500 and, okay, but we are talking about a prime number here. What is the nature of prime number? It does not matter where it lies. Yes, no. The point is, it does not matter what is the prime number here. Any prime number which is not 2 is what? Is an odd number. Yes. So it does not matter what is the range of prime number. If it is not 2, it is an odd number. Okay. So when we are talking about this statement, it means we are talking about a prime number which is odd. Okay. So here is P an odd number. Answer is definite yes. Yes, P is an odd number. Okay. So statement one is able to answer my question. Okay. Now just because it is able to answer, that is not the reason. You have to check for statement two also, if especially if there is an either option here. Okay. Now here it says P plus Q is odd. Okay, and Q is a natural number. So take any odd number, 3. Now here P is a natural number, right? So P, I put it as 1. So P here is 2. Okay. Similarly, P, if let's say, if it is again odd number itself, Q is a natural number. So natural number Q, I can put 2 also. So P here I'm getting as 1. So I'm getting P as odd as well as even. That means what? I'm not getting a definite answer of the nature of P with respect to statement 2. So statement 2 does not answer my question. Statement 1 does. Okay, so here the answer is A. Fine. Chalo. If this is clear to you, Lakshmi, is it clear what we've done? Okay, why statement 2 is not sufficient and statement 1 is enough. Okay. Chalo. If this is clear, try another one. Okay. Here again, the question is, what are the two numbers? Okay, so two statements are given directly, statement 1, statement 2, and yes, what are those two numbers? Okay, so statement 1 says the product of the numbers is 45. Statement 2 says the sum of the numbers is 18. Okay, so you have to find definite answers for these things. Tell me which statement answers your question. Dinesh C. Okay, Raghavan C. Fine. Okay. What about others? Okay. C. 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 Okay. So here, what are the numbers that you are getting? Again, same, you know. When you are talking about the product of the numbers here, 45, it can be multiple numbers can arise, right? So here it could be 45 and 1, right? It could be 15, 3, right? It could be 9, 5. Okay. So multiple numbers are possible. Same. When you take statement 2 alone, again the same scenario. Okay. It's 18. That means 11, 7 could be there. 12, 6 could be there. Okay. But when you combine the two, you get what? 15 and 3. So here the answer is C. Fine. Chalo, if this is clear, try this one. Okay. Now the question is, what is the value of X? Okay. Two statements are given. You tell me which one answers your question. Okay. A. Okay. Dinesh, one. Okay. Abhishek, fine. Dinesh, fine. Raghan, fine. What about Dushyant? Lakshmi, fine. A. Okay. So here what you have, what is the value of X? Yes. Now if you see this here, you find, okay, X into X plus 1 is there, 202 and 2001. Right. So X is 2001. Fine. So it is, you are able to get this value. Okay. That is X plus 1 is 2002. Fine. What if X is minus 2002 and X plus 1 then will become what? Minus 2001, right? That means again, X into X plus 1 will be what? The same value. That is 2002 into 2001. Is this possible or not? ठीक है, यहां पे कहीं पे भी नहीं बताया है कि this cannot be negative integers. Okay. So here there are actually two possible values of x that you are getting from statement 1. Okay. Similarly, here also, x is an odd integer. That does not give you any value of x. It can be multiple values. But when you combine both of them together, what do you get here? Here, x is 2001 and x is minus 2002. And statement 2 says x has to be an odd integer. So which out of these two is an odd integer? This is the odd integer. So here, which statement answers your question? It is actually both of them together. So the answer is C. Is that clear, everyone? Okay. So when such questions are there, आपको negative वाला एक aspect भी consider करना. Fine. Chalo. If this is clear to you, try one more. 1 second. Yeah, try this one. Okay. Now here you have x and y are twin prime numbers. Okay. Statement 2 says the sum of x and y is 36. So the question is, how many pairs of x and y are possible? ऐसे कितने pairs possible हैं? Okay, that's the logic. Try it out. Dinesh C, Dushan C, okay. B, C, okay. Okay. Fine. Now, what about this one? X and Y are twin prime numbers. When we talk about twin prime numbers, that means we are talking about multiple such numbers could be there, right? The condition here is they have to be prime and the difference has to be 2. Okay. So here there are many pairs available. There is no limit here. Fine. So S1 alone will not answer my question. Now what about statement 2 here? The sum of x and y, that is x plus y, is 36. Right? Now when we have x plus y is equal to 36, how many possibilities are there? Okay. Here there are, again, many possibilities. The reason is the nature of x and y, it is not given ki what is the nature of x and y. Okay. For example, if it was given x and y are natural numbers, then that means what? Now it is fixed. Okay. For example, then it will be 135, 234. Okay. it will be fixed. But here, x and y, it's just given that the sum is 36. Okay. And in the question also, the nature of x and y is not given. Okay. So here it can take negative numbers also. I hope this is clear. Okay. For example, it's 37 minus 1. Okay. So therefore, when the nature of x and y is not given, here again, there is many possibilities. I hope this is clear. Okay. So statement 2 also will not answer your question. Statement 1 also will not answer. Fine. Now, when we combine both of them, what happens here? You have what? X and x plus 2. Okay. Basically, twin primes is what? The difference has to be 2. Now you can put that value here. Yes, x and x plus 2 is equal to 36. 2x is equal to 34, or x is 17. Okay. So when we combine both of them, we are getting what? We are getting one value, that is 17 and 19. Okay. So that answers our question. Therefore, it is. Is this clear? Ishani, I hope it's clear, right? Why statement 2 is wrong. Yes. Chalo. Fine. Now, if this is clear, jump to the next one. Okay. Now, here we have again a question, right? The value of x is less than or equal to 15. Okay. That is what it is given. That is x. The possible value of x could be less than or equal to 15. Now, question is, what is the exact value of x? Okay. Now, there are two statements given. X is the sum of 5 consecutive integers. X is the sum of 5 natural numbers. Okay. You tell me which statement answers the question. Okay, Abhishek. Fine. Ragan, fine. Then HB, Dushyant B, fine. What about Lakshmi? Ishani. Okay. So here you have what? X is less than equal to 15. Okay. Now x is the sum of 5 consecutive integers. Right. Now, why did you negate this statement? What is the logic here? Everyone who said B. If I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what's the problem here? I'm getting it as equal to 15. I'm getting a definite answer. What might be the logic for negating the same? What's the reason? Here it is. Any, no, 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 any five, no. Yes, exactly. But we are talking about five consecutive integers. It can be any five consecutive integers. Exactly. Okay. So here it can be what? -5, -4, -3, -2, -1. This is also possible. Here we will still get a value of x which is less than equal to 15. Okay. So here we cannot get an exact value of x from this statement. Chalo, that logic is correct, Raghav. Now what about the second one? Second one says x is the sum of five natural numbers. Yes. Okay. Yes, exactly. Integer may is plain, so it's possible. Yes. Now in the statement 2 again, x is the sum of five natural numbers. यहाँ पे, is that what it is mentioning, Dinesh? It is talking about five natural numbers. Is this possible? Is it anywhere mentioning they have to be unique? Are you getting this? ठीक है, ये बस ये बताया जा रहा है कि ये दे हैव टू बी फाइव नेचुरल नंबर्स. वो नेचुरल नंबर्स क्या है? वो यूनिक होने चाहिए, वो डिस्टिंक्ट होने चाहिए, ये मेंशन नहीं किया गया है. ओके, सो दे कैन बी रिपीटेटिव आल्सो. ओके, so here also will satisfy, it will be less than equal to 15. So statement 2 also will not answer my question. Okay, now what if I combine both of them together? Now when I combine both of them, we are talking about five consecutive integers which are also natural numbers. That means what we are talking about? Okay, so here which statement will answer your question? Here, see, combined both of them. I hope this is clear. So keep in mind this aspect also, that is unique and distinct possibility. Until and unless specifically mentioned, you will not uh, just assume. I hope this is clear. Fine. Chalo, if this is clear, try another one. Okay. So here the question is the product of two numbers x and y an even number? Okay. Product of two numbers x and y an even number. Again, you should get either a definite yes or a definite no. Okay, and two statements are given. So this is actually a good question. Think it through before answering. Okay, statement 1 says x plus y is a prime number. Statement 2 says x is a prime number greater than 2 and y is a natural number. Okay, try solving this. Okay, Abhishek, fine. Okay, we are getting different answers. See, okay, Dinesh. Okay, B, C. Okay. What about Raghavan? Ishani? B. Okay. All right. What do you have? X plus Y is a prime number, right? X plus Y is prime, right? Now, is the product an even number? So you should get either a definite yes or a definite no. Okay. Now let's say if I assume 1 plus 1 is 2. So 2 is a prime number. Okay. In this case, what happens to xy? Xy is multiplication of 1 into 1, that is 1 itself, which is odd. Okay. If I take 1 and 2 here, what happens? 1 plus 2, that is 3. 3 is again a prime number. Now what happens to xy? Xy is 1 into 2, that is 2, which is even. That means here xy I'm getting as either odd or even. We are not getting a definite answer from statement 1. Okay. So we are not getting a definite answer. So we remove this aspect. Fine. Now what about the statement 2? Statement 2 talks about x is a prime number greater than 2. Okay. So when we are talking about a prime number which is greater than 2, we are talking about odd numbers. Okay. And we are talking about what? 3, 5, 7, 11, so forth. Right. Now y is a natural number. Fine. Now, when y is a natural number, it can be what? It can be 1, it can be 2, it can be 3. Okay. Now, if you simply multiply here, again, xy, 1 into 3, that is 3. 5 into 2, 10. That is, we are getting odd and even. So, we are not getting a definite answer again of the product. So, statement 2 alone is also not sufficient to answer the question. Okay. Now, what if we combine both of them together? When we combine both of them together, we mean what? X plus y is equal to prime. And here x is what? A prime number which is greater than 2. That means we are talking about odd numbers here. Okay. Now, if what is prime number? Here, this also will be odd only. So then what should be the nature of y here? If this some odd has to be added to something to get back odd, this should be odd or even. It has to be. The nature of y has to be even. Exactly. Okay, so here we know the nature of x. X is odd, y is even. So then xy becomes what? Odd into even. That is okay. So here, when we combine both of them together, we are getting yes, the product xy is an even number. Okay, so here the answer is fine. Chalo, if this is clear to you, try another one. Okay, so here now we are moving towards if an integer is greater than the other one, right? So here you can see the question. If P and Q are unique integers, is P greater than Q? So statement 1 is there, statement 2 is there. Statement 1 says P into Q is lesser than 0. And statement 2 says P plus Q is less than 0. Okay. And Q is a natural number. Try this one out. Which statement answers your question? Okay, C. Raghun C. Okay. Dushyant C. Okay. What about Lakshmi? Option D. Okay. B. Fine. All right. So let's see here. Okay. Now, if P and Q are unique integers, is P greater than Q? Okay. So either you should get an answer, yes, P is greater than Q. Okay. Or you should get a definite no, P is not greater than Q. Okay. यही एक दोनों आंसर होना चाहिए ना. Definite answer you should get, right? Now see the statement one. It says P into Q is less than 0. Okay. You are multiplying two numbers and you are getting it less than 0. So there are two possibilities here. For example, here, this could be a positive number, this could be a negative number, or vice versa. For example, if it is 2 into minus 1, it will be minus 2, which is less than 0, or it could be minus 1 into 2, again, minus 2, less than 0. Okay. So here, the nature of P and Q, you do not know. They are interchangeable. Therefore, you cannot clearly say if P is greater than Q or not. Okay, through statement one. So that is wrong. Now, what about statement two? Statement two says P plus Q is less than 0. And here Q is a natural number. Okay, so when we talk about Q is a natural number, that means what? This has to be positive. Yes, because natural numbers is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then what can you deduce about the nature of P from here? If P plus Q has to be less than 0 or negative, and Q is also negative, sorry, Q is positive, then what has to be the nature of P? It should be positive or negative. It has to be negative. Exactly. है ना? यदि ये दोनों पॉजिटिव हो गया तो डेफिनेटली इट विल बी ग्रेटर देन 0, नॉट लेस देन 0. ठीक है? So what does it mean? Q is positive and P is what? Negative. So from here, what do we get? Q is greater than P, right? Q is positive, P is negative. So Q is greater than P. So am I getting a definite answer here? Is P greater than Q? From statement 2, I am getting a definite no. That is, P is not greater than Q. It's the other way around. Therefore, statement 2 is sufficient to answer my question. Are you getting this, everyone? Dinesh, Dushyant. ठीक है? तो यहाँ पे B is sufficient. Okay, so here the answer will be S2 is sufficient. Okay, chalo, if this is clear to you, try the next one. Okay, again, the same kind of formula. Is P greater than Q? You should get either a definite yes or a definite no. Okay, so statement 1 says P minus Q is 0, and statement 2 says P square is lesser than Q squared. Which statement answers your question? Find out. Dinesh, fine. Dinesh, okay. Ishani, fine. Lakshmi, C, okay. C, okay. Question C. Okay. So great. So here you have what? Again, statement one. P minus Q is 0. That means P minus Q is 0. That is P is Q. P is equal to Q. That means a definite no we are getting. Is P greater than Q? No. Okay. So statement one does answer your question. Same with statement two. P square is less than Q square. Okay. Now, because we are talking about what? Natural numbers here. That means we can directly create the relationship P is less than Q. Why? Because both are, when we talk about natural numbers, they have to be positive. Okay, for example, if this is 1 and this is 2, okay, that is Q is greater than P, then their squares is also greater. 4 is greater than 1. Okay, so here this also answers my question, that is P greater than Q? Again, a definite no from statement 2 also. Okay, so here either S1 or S2 alone is sufficient to answer the question. Okay, now what if, let's say, I change the question a bit, and here instead of natural numbers, if it was, let's say, integers, then what about statement 2? Okay, statement 1, I'm not concerned. What about statement 2? Will statement 2 still answer your question? If P and Q are integers, is P greater than Q? Okay, and statement says P square is less than Q square. Will that statement 2 answer your question? What do you think? Just cannot say. Okay. What about others? What do you think? Just about statement 2. Okay. Only about statement 2. Does statement 2 answer your question still? If P and Q are integers, is P greater than Q? Okay. So exactly, it will not answer your question. Okay, when we are talking about integers. Okay, the reason is because when we talk about integers, there can be negative integers also, which will satisfy the condition. Okay, for example, if P is -1, Q is -2. Okay, in this case, Q square becomes 4, P square becomes 1. Here again, Q square is greater than P square. But when we talk about P and Q, what is the nature here of P and Q? The nature of P and Q is here P is greater than Q. Okay, so even though P is greater than Q, we see that Q square is greater than P square. The reason is because it is negative integers. Okay, so when we talk about integers, we cannot definitely say that statement 2 will be able to answer our question. Okay, so I hope this concept is clear. ठीक है, इंटीजर्स में ये नेगेटिव वाला एस्पेक्ट यू हैव टू कीप इन माइंड. ओके, चलो, if this part of it is clear to you, is this clear everyone what we have discussed? Just confirmation कि natural numbers और integers का खेल. Okay, चलो, if this is clear to you, try the next one. So the question is, what is the value of x? And here you have two statements given. Okay, Abhishek, fine. Raghavan, fine. Dushant, fine. Dinesh, fine. Good, Lakshmi, Ishani. Okay. So here you have what? X is less than 15. That means it can be 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. Okay, anything. So statement 1 alone will not answer your question. Statement 2, X is greater than 13. Again, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, so it will not answer. If we combine both of them, we are getting X is 14. Okay. Is this the only value we are getting? What if I write 13.1? Does it still satisfy? Exactly. 14.5. Exactly. Okay. So here again, keep that in mind. When X is not defined, here X is not defined. It's not said ki X is natural or as integer. Nothing of that sort is mentioned. Then we are talking about what? Even decimal points here. I hope this is clear. Okay. So it is, you will not assume that they are natural numbers. Okay. So here exactly, when you combine both of them together, again, you're not able to find. So your X will lie between what? 13 and 15. Okay. Here it could be 13.1, 14.5, 14.7, anything, 14.9. Okay. So here the answer is actually D. That is, together also they are not sufficient to answer the question. Fine. So if this is clear to you, try this one. Okay, now we are talking about divisions here. Okay, we are saying x by y is a prime number. Okay, statement 1. Statement 2 says x and y are consecutive integers. Now the question is the product of two numbers an odd number? Tell me which do you find, which statement answers your question? Okay, Abhishek, fine. Lakshmi, okay. Dinesh C, okay. Raghavan B, Ishani B, okay. All right. What about Dushyant? C, okay. So here we have what? X by Y is a prime number, right? So X by Y is a prime number. So your prime number cannot be in a fraction format. That means by default, Y has to be what? Y has to be 1, or it will be a multiple of X. Okay. Yes. Or one of the factors of X. Sorry. One of the factors of X. Okay. So here, yes, Y is 1. So let's say X is 2, X is 3, 4, no, sorry, 5. Okay. So these are multiple possibilities. So what will happen to XY? XY is again 2, XY is 3. That means here it is even, this is odd. Therefore, statement 1 alone will not answer my question. Okay, because it can be multiple values, right? Now, what about consecutive integers? When we talk about consecutive integers, we talk about basically either an even, after that an odd, that is 2 and 3, or it can be what? An odd and then an even, that is 3 and 4. Okay, that means always there will be an even number here. Okay, so here either X is even or Y is odd, or X is odd or Y is even. So that is the logic. So then what will happen to XY? XY will be just a multiplication of even into odd. That is even, odd into even. Again, it is even. Okay, so in both scenarios, what is happening? You have XY being even numbers. Okay, so here S2 alone is sufficient to answer your. I hope this is clear, everyone. Okay. Dinesh, Dushyant, right? Yeah, we are talking about a even and odd pair. Yes. Chalo. If this is clear to you, okay, now we go for the power aspect. Okay, हमने fractions देख लिया. Now you have to decide, yes, question, what is the value of x? And S1 is, x is an integer which satisfies this equation. 2 to the power x is less than 100. Okay. And statement 2 says x is neither a composite nor a prime number. Okay. Which statement will answer your question? Okay, B, Vinesh, fine. Abhishek, fine. Dushyant, fine. Raghavan, D, okay. Lakshmi, B. What about Ishani? We have 2 to the power x. So the question is, what is the value of x, right? So 2 to the power x less than 100. Now here we have, if we just put values of x, right? There are multiple values of x. X is 1, 2 to the power 1, 2 is less than 100. 2 to the power 2, again less than 100, 4. You know, 3, again less than 100. Okay, so there are multiple values of x. We are not able to single down on one value. Okay, so statement 1 alone will not answer my question. Now, what about statement 2 here? Statement 2 says that is x is neither a composite nor a prime number. Okay, now what will happen here? What could be the possible value of x? If it is neither composite nor prime, we are talking about 1. Okay, can it be 0? Is that possible? 0 is also not a prime number nor a composite number. Is that possible? यहाँ पे बस बोला गया है x has to be neither composite nor prime. Similarly, what about negative numbers? Okay, again, not prime nor composite. Okay, so x can have multiple values again here. Okay, it's not defined what is the nature of x. So statement 2 also will not be able to answer my question. Okay, we say x is 1. 1 is neither composite nor prime when we are clearly mentioning that we are talking about natural numbers. If it's only natural numbers we are talking about, then we say 1 is neither composite nor prime. Okay, in other scenarios, we do not say the same. Fine. Now, what if we combine both of them? Again, we are talking about neither composite nor prime. That means either 1, 0 or negative numbers. Okay. So let's say 2 to the power 1 is it's satisfying this equation. 2 to the power 0, again 1. Again satisfying the situation. Again, we are not getting what? One unique value of x from here. Okay, so when we take both of them together also, we are not getting the unique value of x. So here the answer is actually what? The answer is D. Is this clear? What we have done? ठीक है क्योंकि हम yes चलो if this is clear to you, okay, try this one out. Okay, here you have again, here it's clearly defined, okay, that is a and b are natural numbers. Okay, then in that case, how many pairs of a and b are possible? Statement 1 says difference between a and b is 2. Statement 2 says the sum of a and b is 12. So think it through. Tell me which which statement answers your question. Dinesh C. Okay. Abhishek C. Shani B. Okay. What about others? Dushyant C. Okay. Fine. Raghavan C. Okay. What about Lakshmi? B. Okay. So see here, if we take statement 1 alone, again, A minus B is 2 and A and B are natural numbers. That means there are multiple values of A and B which will satisfy the condition, right? So here it could be 9, 7, or it could be 63, 61. Okay. It could be 1000, 998. You know, still it will go on and you will be able to have multiple pairs, okay, which you cannot comprehend, right? That many number of pairs are possible of A and B. So statement 1 does not answer your question definitely. Now what about statement 2? It says the sum of A and B is 12. And here the nature is clearly given that they are natural numbers. That means it will start with what? 1, 11, 2, 10, 3, 9, 4, 8, 5, 7, 6, 6, then 7, 5. That means we are again going back 8, 4, 9, 3, 10, 2, and 11, 1. Okay. So here, actually, if you see, because the nature of A and B is clearly given that they are natural numbers, therefore, this is now defined. Okay. How many pairs of A and B are possible? You can count it actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so there are basically 10 or 11 pairs of A and B which are possible. Are you getting this, everyone? Here it was not possible. The reason is we are talking about the difference here. The numbers could be as large as possible. Whereas here we are adding up two numbers to go to the final number, which is 12. Okay, so statement 2 is sufficient to answer the question. Is this clear, everyone? Okay, so always keep in mind the nature of A and B. That is the area that you have to focus on. If it's given, yes, you will be able to arrive at the answer. If it is not given, if it was just how many pairs of A and B's are possible, then definitely not possible to calculate. Okay, यदि यही क्वेश्चन को मैं यहां से ये हटा दूं, then statement 2 also you will not be able to answer. Okay, then it will be in point format. Na 6.5 ho gaya, 5 plus 5.5 still will give me 12. Okay, that is why, Dinesh, I told you the order. What is the exact order? S1 alone, S2 alone, either. If this is not there, okay, if this is not working, then only go with S1 and S2. Okay, definitely S1 and S2 combined will also answer your question. But what is the order? The order is first S2 alone. Okay, so here the answer is S2 alone is sufficient. Okay, so if this is clear, now this kind of question you might have seen in 2023 also. है ना? देखो एक चीज पहले ही बता देता हूँ. Whenever this kind of question is there, is A minus B plus C lesser than a plus b minus c. Okay, that is a minus b plus c lesser than a plus b minus c. Okay, whenever this kind of expression is given, it becomes actually very hard for you to calculate. Okay, so here what you will do is you will actually rephrase it. Okay, here you can see because we are talking about an inequality sign, but at the same time a is here also. Okay, so what you will do here, you can simply cancel it out. Okay, the reason is both values are the same, they are being added to either side of inequality, it will not change much. Okay, the inequality will remain the same. Okay, now you have b and c. Now you cannot simply cancel it because here it is minus b, here it is plus b, again plus c minus c. So bring that minus sign here, it is 2c, bring that b here, that is 2b. Or basically this entire question, that is a minus b plus c lesser than a plus b minus c, is reduced to what? Is b greater than c? That is your exact question. Are you getting this, everyone? Okay, so if you can find answer to this question, you have found answer to this question also. Are you getting this logic, everyone? Okay, you will only cancel the ones which are of similar nature. Okay, minus और plus को cancel नहीं करना है. Okay, and at the same time bring all minuses to the other side. Okay, अब इधर उधर करोगे तो even the inequality will change. Okay, the sign might change, so it's better you stick with positive numbers itself. Okay, so Dushyant got it. What about the rest of you? How we have simplified this to this? Is this clear? Dinesh, yes. Okay. Chalo. If this is clear, now find out, is B greater than C? Yes, is B greater than C? Okay, that is the question. See, यहाँ पे देखो ना, it is what? C is less than B, no, Dinesh? C is less than B, or when C is less than B, that means what? Or B is greater than. Okay, the same thing. Yes, you say 1 is less than 2 or 2 is greater than 1. Both are the same. Okay. Yes, so the question is B greater than C? Now find this answer to this question. Which statement will answer your question here? Statement 1 says B plus C is positive. Statement 2 says C minus B is negative. B, okay. Shall we find? Dushyant, fine. Abhishek, fine. What about Dinesh, Lakshmi, Raghav, Dinesh D, Raghav D? So here you have what? B plus C is positive, right? That is B plus C is greater than 0, right? Now, if it is greater than 0, what can we say about the nature of B and C? Okay. Uh, is it greater or less? We cannot say, right? For example, here it could be 1 and 2 or 2 and 1. You know, both of them. That is 1 plus 2 is 3, which is greater than 0. 2 plus 1 is 3, which is again greater than 0. So here we are getting B is less than C. Here we are getting B is greater than C. Okay. So statement 1 alone is not sufficient to answer my question, to find out this relationship. Okay. Similarly, C minus B is negative, that is less than 0. Right? When it is less than 0, what happens here? If I take this minus B here, I find out what? B is greater than C. Okay. So here I'm directly getting what? From statement 2, I'm getting B is greater than C. So what is the question? Is B greater than C? I'm getting a definite yes. So when I'm getting a definite yes, that means this statement answers my question. I hope this is clear. Fine. Yes. What about Dinesh? I hope this is clear. Yes. Chalo. If this is clear, now I think, one second, let me just see. Okay. Okay, try this one out. Okay. And then we'll directly jump into the UPSC questions. Okay. So here the question is, how many speeches were delivered in the 2 days program? Okay, so 2 statements are given. You have to answer which question, which statement answers your question. Okay. Try this one out. After this, we will do the UPSC questions. Ishani C, Raghavan C, Dinesh C. Okay, fine. Krishnan, fine. What about Lakshmi? Great. See, okay. So everyone got the answer here. So I'm not explaining the same. That is, yes, C is the correct answer. Okay. So here again, the point here is when a person can speak, he can give at least one speech or two speech. That means there is a range given. That means again, we cannot clearly say how many speeches are delivered in the exact manner. Okay, when a range is given. Okay. So when you combine both statements, you will be able to exactly tell how many speeches were given. Fine. So the answer is C. Chalo, if this part is clear, now let's jump into the UPSC questions. Okay. So this was asked in your 2020, a direct straightforward question. Question is given, what are the two numbers? Statement 1, statement 2 is given. Okay. So which option will answer the question here? Abhishek, fine. Then AC. The product is 21, the sum is 10. Are the two numbers? Raghavan, fine. Dushyant, Lakshmi. Okay. So here you can clearly see again, when you combine both of them, the numbers is 7 and 3, right? Their product is 21, their sum is 10. If you take it individually, definitely it could be multiple possible values are there. Okay. So here it is C is the correct answer. Fine. All right. Now, if this is clear, try the question asked in UPSC 2022. Okay. So the question is X an integer? Okay, so statement 1 is given, statement 2 is given. That is x by 3 is not an integer and 3x is an integer. Tell me which statement answers your question. Okay, Abhishek, fine. So here you should get either a definite yes or a definite no. That is x is an integer or x is not an integer. Dinesh B, Dushyant B, okay. What about Raghavan, Lakshmi? Raghavan D, okay. All right, so here what it is saying, x by 3 is not an integer. So when x by 3 is not an integer, that means what? What could be the value here? X could be 1, 2, 4, 5, you know. But at the same time, x can also be in fraction format, right? That is 1 by 2, 1 by 3, 1 by 5. All of these values of x, again, x by 3 will be what? 1 by 6, 1 by 9, 1 by 15. So it is not an integer. So I'm not getting a definite yes or no here. Okay, so either x can be integer or x can be fractions also. Okay, so statement 1 alone does not answer my question. Now what about statement 2? Statement 2 again, 3x is an integer. Okay, so here if I put x is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, है ना? So again it is 3x is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Okay, they are all integers. But at the same time, if I put x is equal to 1 by 3, 2 by 3, what happens here? When I put this again, x is 1 by 3, that is 3x is 1, 3x is 2 in this case. That is, again, it's an integer itself. Okay. So am I getting a definite value of x? Here again, x can be integer or it can be fraction also. Are you getting this? Okay. So in statement 2 also, x can be either an integer or x can be fractions also. That is 1 by 3, 2 by 3. I hope this is clear. Fine. So statement 2 also does not answer my question. Okay. Now when you combine here, yeah, it is just x by 3 is not an integer and 3x is an integer. That does not give you any, it will not help you in finding out the nature of x, because here it is not an integer and here is an integer. Okay. So total complementary aspect. So therefore the answer is what? That is, both together are not sufficient to answer the question. Is this clear, everyone? Okay. So here, when such questions are asked, the fraction format also, or as we have discussed, the decimal point also you have to keep in mind. Is this clear? Okay. I hope this concept is clear. Okay. Yes. Chalo. If this is clear, try the one in 2023. Okay. So this was asked in your UPSC 2023. Okay. So the question is P greater than Q? So again, two statements given. Read the statements carefully. Tell me which statement answers your question. Is P greater than Q? Okay, Dinesh, fine. Raghavan, fine. Abhishek, fine. Dushyant, fine. बहुत बढ़िया. What about Ishani? Lakshmi, is P greater than Q? Either a definite yes or a definite no. Okay. So here you have what? Again, P into Q is greater than 0. Okay. So when it is greater than 0, that means what? You do not know what is the nature of P and Q. P and Q could be 1 and 2, or it can be 2 and 1. Okay. Again, what happens here? It is Q is greater than P. Here it is P is greater than Q. Okay. So we are not getting a definite value of the same. Okay. So statement 1 does not answer our question. What about statement 2? Again, P square is greater than Q square. Here again, the problem lies in what? The P and Q has not been defined. Is it a natural number? Is it an integer? Okay. If it's an integer, that means what? We have to take negative numbers also. Okay. So that is the reason statement 2 again does not answer your question. Okay. Now what about if we combine both of them? P into Q is greater than 0 and P square is greater than Q square. Does that answer our question? Again, it does not. The reason is what? Here, if it is positive numbers, then well and good. But at the same time, negative numbers will also be able to give the same reaction, right? That is PQ is greater than 0, then P can be -1, -2. Multiply both, you will get here. Again, -2, -1. Multiply both of them, it is 2, which is greater than 0. So in this case, what will happen? Your P square is lesser than Q square. Here it is P square is greater than Q square. So we are getting different aspects here. Okay. So that is the reasons when you combine both of them together, again, you are not getting the solution to the question. Okay. So that is the reason you will say answer is what? When you combine both of them together also, you are not getting the solution. I hope this is clear. Okay. Chalo. If this is clear, everyone got the answer. So if this is clear, okay, now there is a straightforward, easy question asked in your UPSC 2020. Okay, n is a unique natural number between 10 and 20. What is n? Okay, so two statements given. N is a prime number. So a prime number between 10 and 20. And statement 2 says n leaves a remainder of 1 when divided by 4. Okay, so you should get which statement directly answers your question. Dinesh D, okay, fine. Dushman D, okay. Abhishek, fine. What about Raghavan? Yes. What about Lakshmi? A unique natural number between 10 and 20. Okay. So here when we talk about n is a prime number and it has to be unique also and lies between 10 and 20. That means we are talking about what? N is 13 or n is 17, prime numbers. Okay. Or n is 19. Here there would be 11 also. Okay. So n is a prime number which lies between what? 10 and 20. So it can be 11, 13, 17, 19. Okay. So different values possible. So that does not give us our answer. Now n leaves a remainder of 1 when divided by 4. Okay, so n is something which leaves a remainder of 4. That means again, if it has to lie between 10 and 20, that means what? N is 13 or 17. 13 when you divide it by 4, the remainder is 1. 17 when you divide it by 4, again the remainder is 1. Okay, so statement 2 also does not answer your question because you're not getting a unique value. It is clearly given n is a unique natural number. Only one value is possible. When you combine both of them together, what happens? N again is 13 and 17. You're not getting a unique value, therefore is fine. Chalo. If this is clear, yes, try this one. Asked in your UPSC 2019. Okay, this will be your second last question. Again, a direct, straightforward question. The question is PQ an odd integer? And statement 1 says P and Q both are prime numbers, and P plus Q is an odd integer. Okay, Abhishek, fine. Okay, Dinesh, fine. Dushyant, fine. Okay. What about Raghavan? Lakshmi? Okay. So here again, P and Q both are prime numbers. That means PQ is, again, it can be odd or even because P can be, the prime number is there. So it can be 2 or odd prime numbers. Okay, depending upon it, PQ will be either odd or even. So we are not getting a definite answer to the question, is PQ an odd integer? It can either be odd or even. So statement 1 does not answer our question. What about statement 2? It gives that P plus Q is odd. If P plus Q is odd, that means what? What could be the nature of P and Q? P can be odd, Q can be even, or P can be even, Q can be odd, but it will never be odd and odd, because if odd and odd is there, that means what? We are talking about even. At the same time, it cannot be even and even. Again, it is even. Okay. So there are only two possibilities. That is, one of them is odd, the other one is even. In that scenario, what happens to PQ? That is, you multiply odd into even, it is an even integer. Okay. Is PQ an odd integer? We can get a definite no from statement 2. So statement 2 is sufficient to answer the question. Fine. Chalo, if this is clear, now we come to the last question for. Acha, ye ek aur hai. Yeah, try this 1 second. Yeah, try this one. One more is there. And then we'll go to the last question for today. Okay. So here the question is, are there more than 100 figures in the book? Okay, this was asked in your UPSC 2020. Okay. Now again, two statements given. There are not more than 2 figures on any page of a 51-page book. And statement 2 says there is at least one figure on every page. Okay, so two different statements. So which statement answers your question? Are there more than 100 figures in the book? Dinesh D, okay, fine. Dushan D, Shani D, okay, fine. Abhishek D, okay. Raghavan D, okay. So I think everyone got the answer here. Okay, the same concept here. When we talk about the number of figures here, when we talk about 51 page book, here not more than two figures. Again, it could be one figure, two figure. We do not know the exact number. Okay. So when you combine also, you will not be able to get the answer here. So the answer here is actually D. So everyone got the answer. So not explaining the same. Okay. Chalo, now jump to the last question for today, that is Ask Junior 2023. Okay. Is P plus Q minus R greater than P minus Q plus R? Okay. Two statements given. Which statement answers your question? First of all, what you will do, you will reduce the question first. Okay, you'll reduce it first and then see which statement answers your question. Dinesh C, okay, Ragan C, Ishani C, okay. Abhishek C, okay. What about Lakshmi? What about Dushyant? Dushyant C. Lakshmi C, na? So what you are doing here, again, simplifying the same, okay? So here P and P will get cancelled. Minus Q will come here. 2Q is greater than 2R or Q is greater than R. So the basic question here is Q greater than R? That's the question, right? So here you have P minus Q is positive, that is greater than 0. So here you have P is greater than Q. P minus R is negative. P minus R is negative, less than 0. That is R is greater than P. Okay. So here you can clearly see in statement 1, the relationship is between P and Q. But the question is asked regarding Q and R. In statement 2, the relationship is regarding R and P. Again, the question is asked regarding Q and R. So statement 1 alone, statement 2 alone will not answer your question. If you combine both of them, you get both the combinations together here. So here it is, R is greater than P is greater than Q. Okay. So now it is Q greater than R? You can get a definite no if you combine both of them together. Okay. So here the answer is, the question can be answered using both the statements together. Fine. Chalo, if this is clear, with that, we end the class for today. Okay. Now, the next class for you, again, tomorrow, 14th Feb, Wednesday. 14th Feb. Okay, 14th Feb. Okay. I hope. Okay. 14th. Okay, so we'll have the class tomorrow. No problem. Okay. We'll have the class tomorrow at 14th Feb and Wednesday. The timing is the same, 2 p.m. Okay. Now, if there is any person who has doubt, that person can stay back. The rest of you can leave. The class for today is over.